All right, let's dive in. Today we're tackling a listener question about, well, a person. Who is Dr. Laurence Gayao?
A great question.
And to get to know him, we're going right to the source. His blog,
Oh, interesting.
Total Fitness.
All
It's
right,
like
hang on.
getting a first-hand look at his 4 decades in medicine.
Yeah, and what I find really fascinating is he doesn't just kind of like list out his career. It's more about this big change in how he thinks about health. Like that's what really grabbed my attention.
It's a journey for sure. So, starting back in 1971,
Yeah.
he graduates from UARMMC College of Medicine in the Philippines.
Wow.
Then he's off to the U.S., finishes a residency in family medicine at Texas Tech in '75.
When you think about those two specialties, family medicine, and later on he moves into emergency medicine,
Right.
you've got to have just this huge range of knowledge, right? I mean, you're treating all ages, all sorts of stuff, from everyday things to like life or death situations.
And you can see that in how Dr. Gayao approaches things. His blog, I mean, he really stresses that link between the choices we make every day and how healthy we are in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not just about fixing the immediate problem.
Right, right. Like those quick fixes, they don't always get to the root of the issue. And he's seen that firsthand, especially with those chronic conditions so many people are dealing with.
It's like he's asking, are we just slapping on Band-Aids when we need, like, major surgery?
Exactly. He's pushing for a shift. For doctors, for patients, we got to focus on preventing these problems in the first place.
And it's not just him talking the talk. This isn't just theory. Dr. Gayao himself, he had a pretty intense experience.
Oh, what happened?
Quadruple coronary artery bypass graft.
Wow, that's major. I mean, even as a doctor, going through something like that, it's got to make you rethink everything.
It's a wake-up call for sure.
Yeah.
Seems like that was a real turning point for him,
Yeah.
Like even with all his medical training, there was this whole other side to health he needed to explore.
Totally. And that's what makes his message so powerful, right? It's not just coming from a textbook. This is something he's lived.
Exactly. So after he retires from active practice, Dr. Gayao really zeroes in on this concept of lifestyle-induced illnesses. And he uses his blog, Total Fitness, to advocate for this more preventative approach to healthcare. And the best part,
What's that?
it's totally free. He wants this information out there.
That's really cool. I mean, it shows you how much he genuinely cares about helping people take charge of their health.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And he practices what he preaches, too. He really credits these lifestyle changes with helping him stay independent, enjoying his retirement years to the fullest. He's basically a walking example, like, look, this works. This can change your life.
It's inspiring, right? He's living proof that we can get older and still have a really great quality of life.
And he actually says on his website, our personal motivation to prioritize a healthy lifestyle as we age is both commendable and crucial for maintaining a high quality of life.
I like that. It's about taking ownership. We have more power than we think, and he's reminding us of that.
Absolutely. And he doesn't just stick to the blog either. Dr. Gayao's all over social media, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, even Instagram.
Wow, he's everywhere.
It's like he's built this whole world online, to get this message of healthy living out there.
He's really meeting people where they are, using social media to reach a wider audience. That's smart.
Really smart.
Okay, so we've gotten to know Dr. Gayao a little bit, his background, what drives him. But let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What's his advice for actually achieving this, like, total fitness he keeps talking about?
He's got it all laid out, 7 key areas. He calls them the pillars of well-being.
Pillars.
And they cover everything, from the stuff we all know we should be doing to things we might not think about as much.
So break it down for me. What's the first pillar all about?
First up, regular exercise. But here's where Dr. Gayao's personal experience really shines through,
How so?
He's all about finding something you actually enjoy doing.
Right.
It shouldn't feel like a chore. It should be something you're excited about.
Makes sense. I mean, we've all tried those workout routines we hate, or you just end up quitting.
Yeah.
She's saying, like, find what makes you want to move.
Exactly. Next, we've got balanced nutrition. And he's not talking about crazy diets or anything.
Okay, good, because those never work.
It's more about eating a variety of real food, cutting back on the processed stuff.
Seems simple enough, but it's tougher than it sounds for a lot of people. And Dr. Gayao makes this point. You can't just outrun a bad diet, right?
Nope. Exercise can only take you so far.
Exactly. So what's next?
Pillar number 3, stress management. And this is where I think his background in emergency medicine really comes in. He's seen how damaging stress can be.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's a big advocate for things like meditation, yoga, even just spending time outdoors to unwind.
All good stuff. We know these things help, but it's easy to let stress take over. He's reminding us to actually make relaxation a priority.
And on that note, getting enough sleep is another pillar. He's really strict about sticking to a regular sleep schedule and creating a good bedtime routine.
Like he sees sleep as this essential time to recharge, right? We all know we need it, but do we actually make it a non-negotiable?
He's definitely saying it should be. Okay, next up, regular checkups.
Ah, the doctor's office.
It's all about staying ahead of things, right? Talking to your doctor, catching things early.
Being proactive. It's so much easier to manage health issues when you're not playing catch up, you know?
Exactly. But it's not just about the physical stuff.
Hmm.
Dr. Gayao really believes that having strong social connections is a big part of well-being.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more about that.
He wants people to stay connected to their communities, nurture those relationships.
It's true. We need those connections. Loneliness can be just as bad for you as all those other things we've been talking about.
Right. Connected. And then last but not least, he encourages people to find hobbies, things they're passionate about, things that bring them joy.
Yeah, that spark, right. Finding something that gives you purpose outside of work.
It's about living a full life, not just a long one. And I think that really sums up Dr. Gayao's whole approach, you know?
I think so, too. He's really empowering, reminding us that we have more control over our health than we think.
And the thing is, he doesn't just talk about this stuff in theory, you know? He lives it. He credits these pillars with helping him stay active and independent in his retirement.
Right. He walks the walk. It's really inspiring.
So there you have it, the 7 pillars of well-being, according to Dr. Gayao. But there's one more piece of the puzzle we haven't touched on yet.
Oh, what's that?
He doesn't just focus on individual choices. He also has some pretty strong opinions about the healthcare system itself.
Okay, now that I want to hear about...
So we've talked about Dr. Gayao's own experiences, how he came to embrace this whole idea of preventative care, those 7 pillars of well-being he's so passionate about. But he doesn't just stop there. He actually takes a pretty critical look at the U.S. healthcare system as a whole.
Oh, interesting. What are his thoughts?
Well, he points out this kind of crazy paradox. You ready for this?
Yeah, hit me with it.
The U.S. spends more on healthcare than any other developed country.
Wow.
But we actually have a shorter average lifespan than a lot of them.
That doesn't seem right. I mean, you'd think with all that money we'd be the healthiest, right?
Exactly. But Dr. Gayao argues that the way our system is set up, it's too focused on treating diseases after they've already developed, you know?
Instead of stopping them before they even start.
Right. He's calling for a major shift. We need to move away from this reactive approach where it's all about fighting disease
Yeah.
and instead focus on being proactive, emphasizing prevention and just overall well-being.
It's like we're always playing catch-up instead of getting ahead of the game.
Exactly. And he connects this back to those 7 pillars we were talking about. They're the foundation, he says, for a truly healthier population.
Okay, I see where he's going with this.
But he also acknowledges that it's not all about individual choices.
Right, like some people have it harder than others, right?
Absolutely. He talks about how access to healthy food, safe places to live, good education, these things all play a huge role in how healthy we are.
It's like the environment we live in can either help us or hurt us, health-wise.
Right. So it's a bigger conversation than just telling people, eat your veggies. It's about creating a society that supports healthy choices for everyone.
I like that. So he's challenging us to think about the bigger picture here.
Definitely. He's saying we need to think about those systemic factors that influence health and advocate for policies that actually make it easier for everyone to live a healthy life.
It's not just about personal responsibility. It's about creating a world where healthy choices are the easier choices.
Exactly. And what I find inspiring is that he's not just sitting around waiting for the system to change. He's taking action.
How so?
He's putting his knowledge out there for free through his blog, his social media. He's reaching people directly.
It's like he's saying, I'm not going to wait for permission to make a difference.
Totally. And that shows how dedicated he is. He truly believes in the power of information. It's like a one-man health revolution, you know?
Yeah, I like that. A one-man health revolution.
Empowering people to take control of their own well-being. So, as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Dr. Laurence Gayao, what's the big takeaway for our listeners?
Well, I think Dr. Gaio's story is a powerful reminder that we have a lot more control over our health than we realize. And he's not just saying it, he's living proof.
Absolutely.
Huh.
And he's given us these tools, those 7 pillars, to help us build a healthier life.
It's all about being proactive,
Yeah.
making those healthy choices, and speaking up for changes that make healthy living easier for everyone.
It's about taking charge of our own well-being and advocating for a healthier future for ourselves and our communities. So, as Dr. Gayao would say, don't be a passenger in your health journey. Take the wheel.
And if you're looking for some guidance, his blog and social media are great places to start. Lots of practical advice, inspiring stories, it's all there.
He's created this amazing resource full of hope and empowerment. And that's what we want to leave you with today, that sense of hope and that feeling that we can create a healthier future together. Until next time, keep diving deep.